Hi, I'm Joe, J.S. James, and I've been asked to read from my novel, River Run. In the excerpt I've selected, Sheriff's Detective Delia Chavez confronts an age-old abject fear of moving water to investigate a body find on the Willamette River. Packy McFarley is the Buena Vista ferry boat operator that she talks with. Oh, and the story evolved from my and my brother's misadventures over the years on the Willamette River and other places in the great outdoors. Get on with it, Delia told herself. Step out, shut the car door, breathe. She ignored the nauseating odor of riverbank rot, retrieved her evidence kit from the trunk, and concentrated on the ferry ramp, its two-car width, the welded metal sturdiness. Head down, she trudged upward. Hope you're here to get this dead guy off my boat. She tracked a voice that could hammer tacks over to a 40-something man standing with his backside against the ferry's blue and white pilot house. The boat pilot, she assumed, unfolded his arms, uncrossed his ankles, straightened up to a whole 5'2" in his pea coat, and strutted toward a tarpaulin-draped mound. A red-tipped stocking foot poked out from one corner. She advanced slowly, taking in details, doing her best to tune out any movement past the plate iron she walked across. From the corner of her eye, watery mouths opened and closed as they swirled past the empty car deck. One eddy sucked noisily at the surface, a river hungry for more victims. They met at the tarp, the shrimp-sized boat captain's glance traveling up and down, then between her and the parked car at the bank. You are a detective, aren't you? She set the kit down, flipped open, then pocketed her new ID in a recently practiced motion. Chavez, Polk County Sheriff's. McFarley, Marion County Ferries. She shook his ice-cold hand and surveyed the empty car deck, noting drag marks through puddle depressions on the welded metal deck. You moved the body? McFarley nodded, motioning toward the ferry's upstream corner where the water trail ended, or rather began. Draped over that cable like a limp blanket on a clothesline. He shrugged, anticipating her why question. Afraid the corpse would wash downstream, so I gaffed it by the coat and hauled it on board, docked my vessel and called 911. Again he eyed her. Though she was accustomed to men staring, she still buttoned her coat. Crouching beside the green plastic cover, she removed and snapped on black surgicals. McFarley's rubber-soled work shoes stayed planted in the corner of her vision. She shot him a look. I'll let you know when I have questions. Mr. Roving Eyes wandered off. She peeled back the tarpaulin. Fully clothed, except for missing waders, suspender fragments crisscrossed at the shoulders, the body looked as if it had been in the water a while. Sharp-angled lids framed brownish, milky eyes, indicating the dark-haired man may have been of mixed ancestry. A massive X-shaped throat puncture was the obvious physical insult. After photographing the body from all angles, she knelt and eased the man's head upward, discovering a larger exit wound, also four-sided but jagged and torn. Fleshy material hung down the back of the neck, suggesting a force powerful enough to punch severed larynx rings and pieces of vertebrae backward into the rear lesion. The weapon that killed the man had been driven through the neck and later retrieved, probably by yanking the thing out the back. No mere knife wound had inflicted this damage. By the wound's position, the crushed voice box, and sliced arteries, she figured the victim had choked or drowned on his own blood. Searching his pockets for ID, she withdrew a lanyard with a tube-shaped wooden object attached. A duck call. 8 letters had been burned into the wooden barrel. H.T. Snyder. A siren wailed in the distance. Back in a crouch, Delia Crabb walked around the body, scrutinizing what was visible. The man's left arm lay crooked beneath the zipped hunting coat. The siren grew louder. She lifted the soggy material, slid the hand out, and instantly let go. Ah, shit. She gazed up the road at the approaching ME van, overcome with the need to fixate on a less jarring, more routine image. Lights flashed, red, blue, white, but the pearly shine of a bared knuckle bone, where a pointing figure should be, and what that might mean, stayed with her. The siren cut off mid-wail. I'll leave you with a couple of questions I've jotted down. First, why is Delia so repulsed by a meandering river? And how does that secret twist the plot like a Gordian knot? Second, how can a potamophobic detective hope to conduct a murder investigation over crime scenes nearing flood stage and stretching for miles? Thanks for listening.